All right. Let me make sure I got everything muted. Okay, I think so. Is the YouTube stream up?
Yep.
I don't see it.
It just popped up.
Let me refresh the page here.
Hey, Rumble folks, how are you?
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Hey, Sitting Bear. Let's see. Christy Martin, I think, is still here. Um, Sitting Bear, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me all right. Want to make sure my mic's working. What's the delay right now, dear Max?
I don't know.
Okay, cool. He gave me a thumbs up. We're good to go.
Oh, if I can hear you, I can hear you. You're good.
All right. How you doing today, Sitting Bear? Hey, I saw that report you just posted about Ebola. That's kind of scary stuff, man. I sure hope it doesn't come to Western countries. I mean, there's been some reports, I think, but it's not widespread. The fatality rate on Ebola is about 50% too. That's a really, really scary disease. You hear me, dear Max?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got quiet there for a minute.
I'm trying to find.
It still hasn't popped up on my YouTube yet.
It's there.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Got it now. Let me make sure I'm muted. Okay. Hey, Collie Pop. Good to see you. Gray Fawn. Judge George. Taxi Sal. Good to see you, brother. You want to start off, dear Max, or you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay, story I want to put out there. Dear Max and I were just talking about. Take this with a grain of salt, folks. It's Hal Turner. At 3:20 a.m. this morning, he released a statement. I'll just read it to you guys, but remember, take it with a grain of salt. He says the war with Iran is fixing to go to a civilization ending level this weekend. Iran will carry out what it has previously warned it would do, and that is to strike all infrastructure, including electric, oil, water, desalination plants, and others of the countries in the Middle East hosting U.S. military bases. This would completely cripple all oil production from the Middle East. As a result, we will see worldwide recession that degenerates into worldwide depression. He says a month or two after that, Duramax and I think it'll be longer, but he says that after that, then a total global economic collapse. In other words, there'll be no fuel, no food, no jobs, no banks, no credit cards, unreliable electricity, and sovereign bankruptcies.
Yeah, I
It
don't
will
believe
be,
it
he
to
thinks it
that
will
point.
degrade into complete world war. And he says it's all being done deliberately.
Yeah, I don't believe to that point. We're going to see some hard times, yeah, but
I
we're
think
not
so
going to
too.
see that. So take that with a grain of salt, folks.
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt. But hard times are coming, folks, between not only this war situation, but also with the impending going further into the GSM. Couple those two together, and hard times are coming. So prepare now, folks. Think about it in advance. Stock up as much food as you can. That is my advice, and I think yours too, Duramax, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find this. I can't find it. So remember me talking about that big Muslim area up there that we went by when we was looking at flooding me and Lee?
Yeah.
I can't find it. It's not
Hmm.
listed. Oh, I
I
just
agree with
found
you.
it. I found it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sitting
I want
Bear.
to show you all this.
He's going to wait till the markets close. You're right. Also, this weekend is a new moon, so the skies will be very dark. So it's good timing
Mm-hmm.
militarily. I think we're going to see a lot of spicy stuff this weekend.
All right. Here's what I want to show you all. I want to pause this. Look, remember how I was talking to you all there? How they build these things like a military base. Look at this fencing around this thing. Gated.
That's an Islamic center?
Cameras. Yeah, cameras. See them? They're everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And look how the thing is built. Solid concrete.
It's like a military base.
Yeah. Well, it's built like that for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
When all these are the sleeper cells, folks, that I talk about.
Just makes you wonder how much military hardware is in there.
Yep. Here's you a view. It's built like a compound. See all this parking back here that's you can't see
Mm-hmm.
from the main road.
I would keep an eye on that in terms of
And let me show you a little
activity.
something.
I mean, if you start to see folks pulling in all those
Well,
parking
this is
places, that
this
would be
is
worrying.
pretty good waste for me. This is in Richmond. And over here is the Richmond Army Depot, folks.
Oh boy.
That's where they store all that nerve gas. And there's
Oh my gosh.
actually another smaller one right here. Of course, it's not as it's right in this neighborhood. It's not as pronounced. It's this thing right here. Now look how that's built. Look at them little teeny tiny windows. Now, why would they build something like that? It looks like a army place.
Hmm. I
So,
would think that the um,
and I've got one right down
intelligence.
here next to me. I mean, really close to me. It's over here by the park. If you
I
come,
would think that the intelligence services would really have their eyes on all these places.
if you come over here, this is within a mile from me right here. Of course, it's not built like a fort or anything. This one isn't, and it's actually not. It's a learning, it's an educational service. So, but that's the only thing that's around here. But yeah, this one up here is built like a army base. All right, put it over here on that, folks.
High value prepper. Good to see you.
Oh my goodness. The Trump administration has announced plans to rename New York City's Penn Station to Trump Station. That's
He
the,
wants his name on everything.
yep.
Ego, man, that's what it is.
Also, folks, have you all seen about Tim Pool? Most of you know who Tim Pool is.
Yeah, I saw that
He
post earlier.
has done a big flip flop and went from pro Russia to pro Ukraine.
Money, money, money.
Trump is now threatening Russia and China if they provide material support to Iran. It will be very bad for them, he says. Folks, does he not know that Russia is a major, major supporter of material to Iran?
One of the few left.
I mean, they have mass trades of weapons between the two. Does Trump not know this? Where is his intel people at, folks? Where is his morning intel briefings? Where is his it, it's like he's not even getting intel briefings, or he's not reading his intel briefings, or his intel people
And,
are not telling him this stuff.
I think a lot of it has to do with his behavior.
Yeah,
Because if they go in and tell him something he doesn't want to hear, he throws a fit.
yeah,
And they're afraid they're going to get fired.
yep.
I hate to say this, but um, it kind of remind. And I have another little story I'll get into in just a minute
It's
about this.
this
But
a little thing about Cuba. Let me buddy here a second. About a reporter bringing it up and about missiles and drones in Cuba. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know that. We'll have to check into that, folks. How long have we known about
yeah,
missiles and drones in
yeah,
Cuba?
exactly.
It's very, very sad that us know more than he does about drones and missiles and what's where and what's what. It just amazes me."
I hate to say this, but just based on observations, his behavior, I, I hate to go here, but his behavior reminds me of someone else that y'all know. Uh, I won't mention his name, but he was one of the main characters in World War II. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
And his behavior is beginning to remind me of what he did.
Yep.
And he has surrounded himself with nothing but yes men.
Yep.
That is very, very dangerous.
It is. Extremely dangerous, folks. Extremely dangerous. That we are to this point. I've got to break beans. If I don't get these beans broke, there ain't gonna be no count. I've got 2 Walmart bag full that I gotta sit down here later after I get back from mowing and break. Folks, I'm gonna have to go here in about an hour to go mow. So we've got about an hour here. Oh, also, oh, do you remember? Did I share that about? I did not. Yeah, the U.S. Selective Service system, folks. This is kind of big news, and it's getting swept underneath the rug. U.S. Selected Service System plans to computer simulation to test how it will carry out a national mobilization of American manpower. That's big. Nobody's talking about it. What do you think about that? But there's not going to be a mobilization, folks. But it
You mean
is.
a draft?
They're talking about a national mobilization. They're doing a computer simulation to test how it will carry out a national mobilization. A draft is small. This is talking about a full mobilization of American manpower.
Talking about Trump and his behavior, here's a report that just came out. Trump's foul-mouthed Iran meltdown leaked as president is now in revenge mode instead of diplomatic mode, as he's beginning to run out of options.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump unleashed a series of expletives in an explosive rant about his war with Iran during a recent Oval Office meeting, according to those who overheard the tirade.
Yep.
Donald Trump flew into an get my tongue in order here. Donald Trump flew into an expletive-laden rant in the Oval Office as he increasingly loses patience over the Iran war he started, according to someone who overheard the meltdown. The 80-year-old president, whose marriage to Melania is at its lowest point due to disturbing reason, initially said the war would be over in a matter of weeks, but the conflict is now close to entering its 5th month with no end in sight. As Trump attempts to wind down the war, continuously fail. His anger reportedly bubbled over during a recent Oval Office meeting. He launched into a raging tirade against Iran's leaders, referring to them as scumbags and lunatics, while also spitting out a series of expletives during the White House meeting. It comes after Trump's diaper nurse. Trump's diaper nurse left devoted letters to the president in his room with intimate messages. Huh. His diaper nurse? What? Apparently, it's boiling over into his relationship with Melania now. She's even getting ticked off at him. That's why, remember, I said yesterday that, oh, what was the Fox News guy that I talked about? He was real conservative and he quit. Oh, what's his name? I can't remember it right now. Uh, Oh, come on, help me out here, dear Max. What was the guy's name? Used to be a big Fox News announcer, very conservative. Um, anyway, he said that Trump needs to take a month off. Remember I said
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yep, it does.
I just wish he'd stay off social media myself.
Also, it got caught on camera during hot mic, but Trump's assistant told change his diaper as an awkward moment caught on camera.
Maybe that's what that uh, diaper nurse was referring to. His diaper nurse. Gee. Maybe this is what happened to you yesterday, dear Max. Uh, Half of the internet goes down as cloud outage disrupts major websites. This happened yesterday. Issues began around 6:40 a.m. Eastern Time, affecting a range of services including Apple Pay, DoorDash, Reddit, and Hulu, and a number of other internet service provider systems, according to Down Detector. It was mainly focused because of problems at Amazon Web Services, affected quite a number of ISP providers all across the United States that focused a lot in Oregon, but it was affected internet services throughout the country. It said that it was restored about 9 a.m. So maybe that's why you lost internet service, Jermex, yesterday.
We had issues with the main lines. Had issues with the main lines.
But this just goes to show you how dependent we've all become on
Mm-hmm.
the internet being up and running 24/7. And apparently, it doesn't take too much to bring down the whole system.
It doesn't, folks. It's very, 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 very um, fragile.
If you guys haven't, I recommend strongly that you guys do two things. First, get you an old style radio, just a good radio where you can tune in to your local weather, your local news, etc. And it would be better if you could get one of those new radios that not only has normal bands but can also tune in to HF, high frequency, and can tune in to ham radio like 2 meter and other bands like that, so you can stay on top of the news. So just in case the internet
It's
goes
1 o'clock.
down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're not very expensive. You can get them pretty cheap now. The ones that can cover ham radio bands, 2 meter
Yep.
bands,
Yep.
and all
The
that.
Zagru G90 is what I recommend.
Hmm. I
It's
think that's
it's a
good.
really good. It'll tune on any antenna. You can hook it to a shipping container for an antenna, and it
Right,
tunes it.
right. Yeah, I recommend if you're of the prepper mind sort, I really recommend getting yourself at least a cheap um, ham band radio, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, like 2 meter radio. And what's that other band that's commonly used besides the 2 meter and 10 meter?
Well,
You know what I'm talking
there's a
about.
gobba bands. Most of them you have to have license for, except for
Yeah,
civilian
right.
bands.
License to talk on, but you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to have a license to listen into.
Exactly. Yeah.
I myself, I have one, two, I have three um, 2 meter band radios. That's also, what's that other band, like 340 or whatever? You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have three of them, and I have them all connected to a disc cone type antenna that's on a telescopic uh, pole that goes up about 40 feet.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to invest in all that sort of stuff, but I can pick up, uh, I can receive um, information from really far away. I mean, all with that antenna, I can pick it up repeaters that are bouncing off the ionosphere from other countries. But the important thing is, I use them to listen in, especially to my local um, emergency service systems, especially during weather. But I recommend everyone to get a good radio uh, as soon as you can,
Yep. Yep.
and stop relying on just the internet for information.
You all know that the Houthis in Yemen has um, declared an open war on Saudi Arabia,
Yes.
and also
What's Saudi Arabia's what's their military like these days? Are they decent?
they're decent. Yep, they got a pretty good
Okay.
military.
Okay. Also,
The U.S. has
something
now
that's
deployed nearly
oh,
100 air refueling tankers to the Middle East, and they're parking most of these in Israel. I forget that one air base over there, but folks, I've seen
uh,
video of that, and they're
Ben
parked.
Gurion. Ben Gurion.
Yep, they're parked wing to
That's in Tel
wing.
Aviv.
We have not learned a thing about what we done with exercises in Europe when the mock-up Ukrainians came in, and we had everything parked together, and the Ukrainians with a few drones took everything out. And here we are doing it again in an active war zone. We're parking stuff wing to wing. It's just amazing that we have not learned anything. Me and Lee was talking about this, and Lee said that these generals that's doing this doesn't know their you know what from a hole in wall. Trump says XI President Xi at a recent meeting in Beijing told me that he would not, under any circumstances, give or sell weapons to the Islamic Republic of Iran,
Yeah,
and
right. But he
that
sure does information.
yep, hey, they sure sell a lot of stuff and give them a lot of stuff, folks. How many times have we seen them Chinese mock their version of the C-17s go in, the Y-20s or something? They've copied the C-17 down to the rivets almost. Chinese has. You all know
Hmm.
what I'm talking about, the Y-20s. How many times have we seen them go into Iran? It used to be a lot. They would fly them in.
You're right, Christy Martin. She
Nowadays,
just said, I'm convinced Trump is a narcissist with dementia. She saw the same behavior in her dad. Yeah,
I think he's got
I
more of
sad to
us.
say.
I think he has more sundowners than dementia.
Hmm.
My
It's
great
sad to
great
say,
grandmother had
I voted for
sundowners.
him three times, and but I'm sad to say if I, you can't overlook his behavior.
Yep. My great great grandmother had sundowners, and he acts the same way that she did. It's a form of dementia. Sundowners is. But anyway, but yeah, China is still flying these Y-20s into Iran, but they're flying them in with no transponders on. He says right here, he goes on. I am doing him a big favor. Also, likewise, President Putin, despite the horrible war going on in Ukraine, relationship remains as it does with President Zelensky. Told me that he would not sell weapons to Iran. He understands that I do not sell weapons to Ukraine, but NATO countries. They pay the full price on how these weapons are distributed. I have no idea. Therefore, two major countries that people speak often in terms of Iran are, in my opinion, not precipitation. If they did, it would be very bad for them. That makes no sense, folks. Can you make any sense of this, Charlie? I'm sending it to you.
Mm-mm. No, I can't. Here's
Read this here.
regarding what
I'm
okay,
sent.
regarding what we just were talking about. Um, Here's a post from Rerum Novarum. It just said President Xi, at our recent meeting in Beijing, told me that he would not, under any circumstances, give or sell weapons to the Islamic Republic of Iran. And that statement included Chinese companies. Considering our relationship, I take him at his word, he said. I'm doing him a very big favor also. Likewise, President Putin, despite the horrible war going on in Ukraine, told me that he would not sell weapons to Iran. He understands that I do sell weapons to Ukraine, but I do not sell weapons to Ukraine, but to NATO countries. They pay full price. And how these weapons are distributed, I have no idea. Therefore, two major countries that people speak of often in terms of Iran are, in my opinion, not participating. This is what Trump is saying. If they did, it would be very bad for them, certainly not in their best interest. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Trump on Truth Social.
Well, he's came out. Trump says we're in all these wars for years and years, never ending wars. We're in Iran for 4 months. I had a very sad day yesterday. I went to Dover. 4 great Americans unalived. 18 in 2 wars. One is too many, but 18. Whereas in Vietnam we lost 200,000. No, we did not lose 200,000 men in Vietnam. We lost 58,000.
Yeah,
Again,
speaking of,
he doesn't even know how many men we lost in Vietnam. He's pulled a number out of his head of
not his head,
200,000.
pulled it out of his butt.
Yeah, of 200,000. It's just a complete lie. You would think he would. It, 15 seconds on a Google search could have told him the exact number. But
Do you
no,
think
he
he
don't
knows
even
how to
do
use
that.
Google?
I don't know. He don't even do that. He just makes up numbers. It's not 200,000. It's 58,000. So
Yeah,
I'm correcting him here.
speaking of people that have lost their lives in the war so far, here's a related story to that. The number of U.S. troop deaths suddenly appears lower on the Pentagon website.
Mm-hmm.
3 military officials and a Pentagon spokesman gave conflicting explanations for why the number of Americans unalived in the Iran war has changed.
Yep.
On Wednesday, the Pentagon reported on its casualties website a total of 18 service members had been unalived during the war in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
By Thursday, the Defense Department had lowered that number, reporting only 14.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. They don't even know how many really, and they're trying. They've been caught right there, just making up numbers because we know that there's a lot more than 18, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's impossible.
Further,
Hang on a second, Charlie. There's too many areas where the troop housing. I've seen too many pictures of too many bases over the Middle East, satellite pictures now. Areas where
the
troops are housed.
Troop housing has been hit, definitely.
In just one base. I forget the name of the base. I think it's in Kuwait. In one basin, I think it was Kuwait, an area that had been hit. It was these container housing. It was an area where 200 troops was housed. and it was gone.
Well,
So
here's the lame.
something is
Here's the
very,
lame
very
excuse.
strange going on with these numbers. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Doug.
here's the lame excuse that the Pentagon said. Three military officials said that one reason behind the change was that the Trump administration decided to remove four service members unalived in the past weekend from the list, three in Jordan and one in northern Iraq. The reason was because their deaths occurred after Trump declared a ceasefire in the war in April.
He declared
So,
it out of out
because
of thin air. Yeah.
right, so that was the reason the Pentagon gave for why those four people were removed from the list, because it wasn't during the war. Technically, it was after the ceasefire,
But he
so they
declared out
didn't
of
they
thin
didn't
air.
count that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
but it was just a lame excuse.
Yeah. Here you go. Australia is now generating so much solar power that some households are now getting 3 hours of free electricity a day.
Where is
Meanwhile,
that?
Australia.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Trump and the USA, who convinced a bunch of people that solar doesn't work and windmills cause cancer. Also, folks, um, I think I sent this to Lee. Let me look here. No, I did not. Who, and where did I send this to? I sent it to somebody. Hang on just a minute.
Hey, Sergeant Hangover,
Uh,
good to see you.
the U.S. Department of Energy.
Hi, Nadine, Bayou Prepper, Twin Life. Glad you guys are here.
Figured out. Here you go. U.S. Department of Energy discovers that solar panels do not work when the sun's not out. 99% of Mid-Atlantic solar capacity failed after sunset. This is on the Department of Energy webpage, folks.
Hmm. Hey,
Yeah,
Christy Martin.
I'm gonna put this up a second. Just a second, Charlie.
All right, while you're
I want
putting
to
that
talk
up, I'll
about this
just
a
say
second.
this. I just want to comment on Christy Martin. What she just said is very poignant. She said, "That's a disgrace to those service members. I bet their families are outraged." I couldn't agree more, Christy. Absolutely.
Here you go. 99% of Mid-Atlantic solar capacity failed after sunset during 90-degree plus temps. Installed was 18,502 megawatt, and they figured out that they could only generate 138 megawatt. Of course, there is voltage on panels after sunset. It's just collecting the what's coming off the moon and the surrounding stuff. But yeah, if I wanted to, I could link enough panels together to where I can take and make a little bit of power after sunset.
And speaking of temperatures and heat waves,
But this,
remember I reported yesterday that Phoenix was supposed to get 117 degrees. Well, they've upped that now. On Saturday, it's supposed to be 119 with real feel over 120 degrees, up to 125.
yeah,
That is very dangerous temperatures, folks.
but this is just amazing that the U.S. Department of Energy does not know that solar panels does not work after sunset. Also, this is just like peach saying that our peach trees won't produce peaches in the winter, so we might as well just chop them all down. It's the same thing. And also, I've got this one right here. This is the Secretary of Energy, Secretary Chris Wright. He says even if you wrap the entire planet with solar panels, you would only be producing 20% of global energy. One of the biggest mistakes politicians can make is equating the electricity with energy. Um, he got community noted, of course, we all know. Earth gets 1.5 terawatts a day of solar energy. That's 3,000 times the global energy use of 165k terawatt a year. Covering just 1% with panels could power the planet. I mean, this guy went to MIT, and I forget where else. But here's a little map I want to show you. Needed for solar total. Used for ethanol today. See, we use a bigger area than we need for solar to make ethanol, which is garbage. Ethanol is just complete garbage. But it looks like the USDOE doesn't know how batteries work. So, yeah. I just wanted to show everybody that. I thought that was kind of interesting that
Yeah, it is.
the U.S. Department of Energy did not know that solar panels does not work after dark.
uh, Another thing related to the heat in Phoenix. Here's a story that says the planet's strongest heat dome will soon tower over the Rockies and the
Oh,
plains.
I've got one more. Let me butt in here a second. Also,
Okay.
the U.S. Department of Energy figured out that windmills does not work when the wind's not blowing. They said 82% of Mid-Atlantic wind capacity fell during peak demand hours. Um, but yeah, if home if humans only could develop a technology that could store energy, folks. But yep, 2 hours. This was yesterday. The Department of Energy announced yesterday that wind sometimes fails to blow, and that solar panel generation nearly stops after sundown.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of the weather, um, Europe was hit by record breaking events in May and June. Then a slow moving heat dome sizzled the east in early July, toppling records. After that, another sprawling heat dome spiked temperatures to 115 degrees in Montana, breaking yet more records. Now, don't say it. Don't say it, dear Max. Let me say it this time. Let me say it, okay? Welcome to the GSM, folks.
Um, Laura Loomer has done an interview with Zawinski, and I'm gonna play that later when I get back from mowing these 2 yards. Also, I've got some big news. NATO has been forced to down a Russian drone that has breached Romanian airspace this morning. It flew over into Romania, and NATO has downed it. It'll be interesting to see what types of communications this one has, because I heard a while back that Europe had blocked, Russia was buying SIM cards from Europe and using them SIM cards in these drones so they can communicate with cell towers to guide the drones. But I heard that um, Europe had figured out a way to block that reception. So we'll see if this comes out of now, if they're using the same thing and Europe technically hasn't blocked it, or that they have figured out another way to control the drones.
Hmm, interesting. Hey, just you mentioned SIM cards. I just wanted to remind everyone a little practical piece of information. Um, if for some reason you can't afford your phone bill, your mobile phone bill, and so that means your SIM card doesn't work, don't forget that if the internet is still on, your phone will still work.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you can even make calls through the internet without a
Yep.
SIM card. So if your funds are running dry and you can't afford your your phone bill, mobile phone bill, you can still make calls um, using the internet and Wi-Fi
You got to
in
go over
your
and turn
house.
it on in your phone settings.
Right. But you can still make calls. There are apps you can get that will allow you to make phone calls through the internet if you can't pay your phone bill. It's not great, but hey, you can still contact loved ones, et cetera, if you can't afford to pay your phone bill. Just a little practical advice there for you guys. A lot of people don't realize that.
I'm gonna send this to you. I'll let you read this one, Charlie.
From the Intel Frog,
Yep.
couldn't have been taken from your own statements that none of the four KIA from last weekend were attributed to Operation Epic Fury. Two were attributed to Operation Inherent Resolve, while the other two were attributed to unspecified overseas contingency operations. Well, they're manipulating it. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like I said, it's a lame excuse. They're making up excuses for it.
Yep.
And like Christy Martin says, that's a disgrace to the
See,
service members' families.
if read that first page there in there.
Oh, okay.
They don't even
Department
know
of
when
War.
Sergeant Angel was unalived.
Let's see if I can. It's cutting. The picture's kind of cut off there.
Just for first one there. You just click on it.
Yeah, the picture it's a picture where it says Department of War identifies an Army
Well, if
casualty.
you will click on the link at the top up there,
Oh,
Charlie,
okay. I
it'll
got
take
you.
you to
Got you.
that,
I got you. Understood.
and then click on that picture.
Okay. Um, okay, now I got it. All right. Department of War identifies an Army casualty. The Department of War announced um, they believed to be the death of an active duty soldier who was supporting overseas operations in Jordan. Sergeant Angel S. Rampersad, 28, of Ozone Park, New York, is believed to have been killed in action on July 17th, 2026, during an enemy attack at Mafwafak Salty Air Base. I think it's Salty Air Base in Jordan. The incident is under investigation. U.S. Central Command previously announced this soldier as missing. The soldier's status was updated to a duty status, whereabouts unknown, and is believed to be deceased. Sergeant Rampersad said or was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 50th Air 1st Battalion, 50th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 52nd Air Defense Artillery Brigade, and the 10th Army Air Missile and Defense Command in Ansbach, Germany.
So, what I'm trying to get at here is they don't even know that Sergeant Angel where he got unalived at and what day.
He
It's
says he's
really that
missing
bad,
and
folks.
believed to be deceased. Like I said, they're given lame excuses.
Yeah, but they don't even know.
Okay, moving on. We've been talking about this a little bit already. The rapid pace of interceptors and precision guided weapons use worries the Trump administration. The U.S. is expending some of its most advanced air defense interceptors and precision guided weapons in the Middle East and is at a point of great tension inside the Trump administration as President Trump's war with Iran ratchets up. Uh, according, according to U.S. military and intelligence officials familiar with assessments, it's raising broader concerns about America's readiness for potential conflict in the Indo Pacific. The dwindling stockpiles of defensive interceptors and long range missiles have become a real pressure point for top military and civilian leaders who are weighing the demands of war with Iran against maintaining readiness to deter other adversaries, including China. So it goes to what we've been saying for a long time that our stockpiles of especially defensive interceptors is really starting to dwindle. And there's great concern in the Pentagon and in the administration.
Also, something that's kind of interesting. Trump's daily schedule has started having executive time put on it. Executive time. And it's between 4 and 8 hours of it daily.
What is executive time?
Nobody knows.
Interesting.
It started at 8 a.m. today and ended at 3 p.m. when he makes an announcement on American nuclear innovation. But he is precipitating in executive time, closed press at the White House.
We were just talking before we came live about the price of oil. It was up over $100 per barrel, but I think you said it come down a little bit now,
It
right?
did when base they're manipulating it. They're selling off a bunch of shorts, causing it to go
Mm-hmm.
down.
Right. It's manipulation. Yes,
Yep.
definitely. There's a story that says war and tariffs threaten a resilient U.S. economy again. As renewed fighting with Iran sends oil and gas prices soaring, President Trump has imposed new global tariffs that could push up prices further. A few short weeks ago, the U.S. economy seemed to be catching a summer break. The war with Iran appeared to be waning. Energy markets had started to calm down. Prices at the pump had fallen and across the country, inflation had begun to cool. It amounted to a welcome respite for American families and businesses, which had weathered more than a year of shocks that began with Trump's global trade war. But that reprieve did not last long. A widening military conflict with Iran entered a dangerous new phase this week, spooking energy markets and sending global prices to over $100 a barrel. The anxiety spilled into gas prices, which topped $4 a gallon in much of the country, according to AAA. And the tumult coincided with the return of Mr. Trump's trade brinkmanship as the White House formalized a whole new slate of new tariffs on dozens of countries on Friday.
Trump has said starting today, the U.S. controls the servers of every major social media platform, and any country that refuses to pay a monthly digital rent will lose internet access. European Union said that would violate international law. Any attempt to enforce such policy would trigger massive penalties on U.S. tech firms operating in Europe. Donald Trump, if that's your answer, don't be surprised if Google Maps stops working across Europe after midnight.
Huh.
So the U.S. is going to start controlling the servers of every major social media platform. Folks, this is part of digital ID and your social credit scores.
Well, you know me, Germax. You know where my mind goes with all that. Being a Christian.
Yep. This is 1984.
Big brother.
I'm going to let my little helper read this one because what they're accusing the Democrats of, Stephen Miller went on Hannity last night and accused Democrats of wanting to seize private industry. What they are accusing the Democrats of, they actually are doing.
When you said
Here
little
we go.
helper, are you referring to me?
No, it's my AI. So we're going to
Oh,
play
your
this. It's
AI.
going to take.
Okay, I thought you were talking about me.
It's going to help. Going to take just a couple of minutes to read this. Here we go.
Stephen Miller went on Hannity last night and accused Democrats of wanting to seize private industry and hand it to the government. The Trump administration currently holds equity stakes or governance rights in at least 10 companies: Intel, IBM, US Steel, MP Materials, and others, at a scale researchers at CSIS and the Cato Institute both describe as unprecedented.
I messed up. Hang on a minute. Let me redo this.
Stephen Miller went on Hannity last night and accused Democrats of wanting to seize private industry and hand it to the government. The Trump administration currently holds equity stakes or governance rights in at least 10 companies: Intel, IBM, US Steel, MP Materials, and others, at a scale researchers at CSIS and the Cato Institute both describe as unprecedented outside of wartime or economic crisis. Not a hypothetical, not a scary campaign ad. An actual, ongoing federal ownership stake in the chipmaker that makes your phone's processor. He said Democrats want to abolish the Constitution. This is the same administration that tried to end birthright citizenship, a right written into the 14th Amendment, through executive order, and got struck down by the Supreme Court for it. The same administration whose Department of Homeland Security has instructed agents to enter homes without warrants, a direct Fourth Amendment violation. The same administration that has tried to suspend the constitutional right to habeas corpus for people it wants to deport without a hearing. He said Democrats want to abolish the jury system. His own Justice Department just had criminal charges thrown out because of grand jury misconduct so severe a judge couldn't let it stand. And he said all this after bypassing Congress 270 separate times through executive orders since Trump took office, according to Ballotpedia's own count, while accusing the other party of wanting to abolish the Senate. This is a man who has never held a job outside government payroll accusing the opposition of wanting to nationalize industry, days after his own boss nationalized part of Intel. Hannity laughed and called it priceless. That's the tell. Nobody on that set actually believed a word of it. They just liked how it sounded.
Yep, there you have it. There you have it, folks. What they're accusing the Democrats of, they are doing. Also, China has just dumped $663 billion in U.S. Treasury holdings. It now only holds $659 billion, the lowest level since 2008. And there's a little graph of the gold versus U.S. Treasury holdings. They're buying gold, folks, out the wazoo, and they're selling the U.S. Treasuries out the wazoo. They've went from holding 29% to 7.3%. And they went from holding about 5,000. I don't know. I don't know how to read this chart, folks. But anyway, there's a chart. The red is U.S. Treasury holdings, and the purple is gold. Can you see now that they are exiting the U.S. petrodollar system? And they are doing it very fastly.
I wonder when the central bank digital currency really comes into full swing. I wonder how it's
2030.
going to affect all that.
It's got to be done and fixed by 2030, folks. I told you all that Trump was the one going to bring all of this into tuition. And what he is doing right now is exactly what you would do if you was bringing a digital currency and a digital ID and stuff into tuition. They're openly talking about it.
Oh, definitely. The CBDC it's in the books. It's baked into cake right now.
Also, folks, over here in YouTube, there's 28 of you, and Rumble. If you are in Discord, you need to be moving your membership to Coffee Club because the old YouTube account that had all the memberships on it is no longer. You need to use that link. I'll post another link. You need to go over here and fix your membership. I am actively removing people that is not have a membership through Coffee Club. If you would like to become a member, just like Helmcat says, he has just now found us again. If Helmcat would have, I'm just using you as an example, Helmcat. Don't take any of this as I'm telling you to do something. I'm using you as an example. If Helmcat example would have been on our Discord, he would have never missed a stream because we post links to everything we do. And we had moved to Rumble, and we're still on Rumble. But example, if Helmcat would have been on our closed Discord server, which you would find a membership link in chat right now. It's $5 a month, folks. You get well worth over $5 a month in memberships. I don't know what that comes out to be in per day. Let's see here. It's like 16 cents a day, something like that. No, that don't sound right. It'll be 500 pennies divided by 30. Yep, 16 cents a day to have access to almost 100 channels of constant news and roundtables that we're going to start doing, which we'll have one tomorrow. Instead of a news on noon on Saturdays, we're going to start doing a roundtable where everybody can join through Jitsu and come in and ask questions, and we're going to do some news. But go over and sign up. $5 a month. You can't beat it. And it is the only thing that is supporting what we're doing and keeping the funds coming in to be able to do this. And where I am got major issues with my joints, this is the income for right now. Because the tree service is very, very slow. So, yep, go over and sign up, folks. Or if you don't want to become a member, just go over and get us a coffee. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. But yep, you need to be on this Discord. That way you don't miss anything and you know exactly what's going on, because we're getting to the point now to where they're now shutting us down. So get over there, sign up. Go ahead, Charlie.
Going back to price of gas and oil, here's a little story. Why this gas price surge could be different. After 5 months of war, analysts and experts are saying oil markets will now be forced to price in the long-term disruption to global energy flows. American drivers face fresh sticker shock after disruptions from the Iran war intensified in recent days, sending oil over $100 a barrel and national gasoline prices above $4 a gallon. But prices could be poised to go much more significantly higher. Energy analysts and executives are all warning, as oil markets are now forced to recognize the dislocations the conflict has inflicted on global energy infrastructure, the slim prospects of a speedy recovery is looming. So, what I'm trying to say is that so far, it appears like that the long-term disruption to global energy prices and flows hasn't been figured into the price at the pump. But now all the executives and energy analysts are saying that they're now being forced to consider the long-term global energy disruption, and that's going to figure into the price at the pump, which we have not seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
So gas prices, I wouldn't, if this lingers on, this war, and if Iran does what it says it's going to do to all of these countries hosting American bases, where they're going to destroy their gas and oil infrastructure. I wouldn't be surprised if we begin to see prices $5, $6, $7, or $8 a gallon.
Read what I just
Because
sent you, because it makes no
it's
sense.
not going to, I mean, this is not going to be a short-term thing. This is going to take months and months, maybe years, to recover from this if Iran does what it says it's going to do.
Yep. Click on that link there and read that entire post I just sent you, because it makes absolutely no sense. Trump's talking about the Green New Deal.
Trump, green news scam where we were scammed. The whole country was, I was scammed. I got it right from the beginning. They were saying wind was so wonderful, except you couldn't watch your television. They wanted to watch the debate. Donald Trump against sleepy Joe Biden. Nobody could watch it because the wind wasn't blowing. Remember that, he says?
That never happened.
No.
I don't understand where he's coming up with this stuff.
Okay, moving on to a different little storyline here, folks. Something I want to make you all aware of. I've been engaged in a conversation on Discord with Billy, who's considering taking this new medication. And I'm going to be careful with my words here because this is on YouTube.
Yep.
But there is a new strategy for medications that's being it's coming into the fore right now. It's called the peptide medication. And now, if you guys remember from your old high school chemistry courses, peptides are just short pieces of proteins. And with the aid of AI, they have now, scientists have now been able to cut out pieces or synthesize pieces of these cytokines and growth factors, which are called peptides. And they're finding out that they can be used for medications because they activate different cell surface receptors, just like the proteins do. Anyway, I am very skeptical right now of this whole peptide medication scheme that is being released. Um, and I just want you guys to be cautious before taking any of the black market available peptide medications. Check with your doctor before doing any of that, folks. But this is becoming very popular and it's very new, and research has not been done on these peptides yet. So if you start hearing or seeing the availability of these peptide medications, be very careful. Check with your doctor, please.
The IRS is threatening to seize a Tennessee man's farm after charging him interest on a $20,000 refund it accidentally sent him, which he immediately tried to return. I'm not going to tell his name, but he's 76-year-old. Says he was accidentally sent $20,000 by the IRS in 2022. He immediately tried returning the money and even hired an accountant to fix the issue. Instead, the IRS is now charging him interest on the money he tried to return and is withholding his 2025 tax refund. I've tried the president, governor, mayor. They don't mind asking you to vote for them, but when you need help, you can't get a hold of nobody. Despite trying to fix the problem, the IRS is still sending letters demanding he pay interest on the money they accidentally sent him, but he tried to return and they wouldn't let him return it. The IRS is now threatening to seize his farm if he doesn't pay up to $4,300 in growing in interest. And this is just sad, folks.
Hi, Ducks. He just commented that that's one of the things his
Well,
colleagues are researching, what I just talked about.
John Rich. You all know who John Rich is, the country singer that
Mm-hmm.
has got heavily into politics. He gets commented on here. It says, "Yeah, this ain't happening. We're all over this one." So I think that he may be going to try to fix this. The way he has said this. But yep, this ain't happening. We're over this one. So John Rich will get it figured out, folks. He's got contacts. Also, if you pay tolls to Iran to go through the Strait of Hormuz, the ship owners are now losing their insurance coverage. So insurance companies will not cover under the clause, will not cover if you pay the payment. Where a payment has been made, cover for the vessel will cease due to the risk of the breach of sanctions and or terrorism legislation in the US, UK, or EU. So you can't even pay the toll Iran has put up. And if you do, you lose your insurance coverage on your ship. Hey, folks, about 20 minutes here, and I have to go. I've got to go mow these yards.
Hey, here's a story for all of you baby boomers out there who might be retired on Social Security, just like me. The Social Security reckoning is finally coming. Senators elected this November will be in office when America's most popular federal program that Social Security program is on track to completely run out of money. Americans have been hearing about the looming demise of Social Security for decades. The number of old people receiving benefits has increased much more quickly than the number of working age adults whose taxes pay for those checks. Yet, Politicians have let the problem fester and fester for so long that the public could be forgiven for thinking that the crisis would never actually arrive. But it is arriving. For the past 16 years, Social Security has paid out more than it has taken in. This has required dipping into its trust fund, building up over the decades when the baby boomers were in their peak earning years. That fund is on track to run out by 2032. When it does, benefits will have to be cut by 22% across the board so that it lines up with tax revenues that funds them. Pretty soon, politicians won't be able to kick this can down the road anymore. And the senators that will be elected this November will be in office when that happens. So will the next president. They will have no choice but to come up with a way to save federal government's most popular program, lest they be blamed for its partial collapse. So, if you're on Social Security, like I am, pay attention to this, folks. In 2032, you could see a 22% drop in your checks that you get deposited into your account every month. So you might start to think in advance and plan accordingly if you
Goodness
can.
gracious.
I mean, that's going to devastate millions and millions of senior citizens in our
Yep.
country. And we've been talking about it off and on for
Well,
decades.
he's openly
It's here now. It's here now.
he's openly said that he wants to get rid of Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, everything. Ukraine has destroyed both Walberries and Ozone e-commerce fulfillment centers that serve St. Petersburg in Russia. The damage is going to exceed $2 billion US. That is being reported not long ago.
Kim B. Yes, I totally agree with you.
Hey, folks,
what you just said.
I am going to post YouTube. I am going to post you a link to our Rumble. Go ahead and start moving over to Rumble. Charlie, you can stay in Yak if you want to, but I'm going to have to go.
All right. I'll stay for a couple minutes.
I'm going to let everybody get starting to move over to the Rumble. So take this link that I'm posting in chat, click on it, and it will take you to our Rumble account.
Yes, Helmcat, Christy, Kim B, Ducks, all you guys on YouTube, please go on over to Rumble with that link.
There's the link, folks.
If you want to continue yakking a little bit with me. I don't have too many more stories, but I got a couple.
There's the link I posted a few times for you all to get moved over. So start moving over there, folks. Use that link. I posted it 4 times there. Go over to Rumble.
Yeah,
and also,
Kim B.
Bahrain and Kuwait has secretly struck sites inside of Iran. In their first direct retaliation against Iran, the jets hit drone and missile storage depots. The United Arab Emirates provided the intelligence and defensive air cover for the operation. So the UAE, Bahrain, and Kuwait have worked together and they have hit targets inside of Iran.
Hey, before you go, maybe you want to comment on this. What is going on with Trump wanting to paint everything in Washington?
I don't know.
We've gone through that thing with the reflecting
these buildings, folks. You can't paint
That's
this
right.
marble and stuff.
Right. Right now, he's wanting to paint the Eisenhower Executive Office building. And the architects and structural engineers are raising a fit about it. They're saying that it's going to destroy the stonework in the building. So what's going on with him painting all this stuff?
Don't know.
Ravings of a demented mind, huh?
Mm-hmm. Hey, folks, I am ending the YouBoob. I see 23 of you are still over here in YouBoob. Click that link. Get moved over to Rumble. You've got about 3 minutes. And I ended it in 3 minutes.
Thank you, Kim B. Nadine, for coming over to Rumble. Dear Max, you stay safe.
I will.
How you feeling today?
I feel rough. I don't want to go do this, but
I'll bet.
I have no choice.
I understand. I'm waiting on folks to come over to Rumble. Are you ending YouBoob right now?
In 2 minutes. Interesting. Trump has classified AI data centers as military installations. Executive Order 14318 signed June 2nd. Buried on page 14 of the Federal Register. Not one cable news network covered it. Every major AI data center in the United States is now classified as a military operation. Local governments can no longer block them. State regulators no longer apply. Environmental reviews bypassed. Zoning laws overridden. And community objections bypassed. Take that with a grain of salt, as I have not read Executive Order 14318. But take that with a grain of salt for now, folks, until it's confirmed.
Yeah, Kim B. She said if you get under $100,000 per month in Social Security, she doesn't know how anyone can afford to even live. Boy, ain't that the truth, Kim? I couldn't live on $1,000 a month.
Nope. Well, we're making it on a lot less than 1,000 here because of what YouBoob is doing to us.
Fortunately, though, you're
So,
off the grid. You don't have to pay an electric bill.
I got a small one. I got other bills too. So,
Yeah, you got other utilities to pay for.
It's 2:00.
Sorry, that was my computer.
so please, folks, go over and sign up for Coffee Club membership. It's pinned in chat. Help us out here. We need about 50 more of you.
You're right, Nadine. Everything is more expensive these days. I mean, you can't go to the grocery store anymore and walk out of there with anything reasonable and pay less than $100.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Stock up now, folks. Things like coffee, canned goods, stuff you use just every time you go into the grocery store and buy a can of beans or whatever, buy an extra one and put it up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about those expiration dates. canned goods last way, way, way longer than what their expiration dates say they do. I'm a big fan of Campbell's Chunky Soups.
Hey, folks, I am ending the U-Boob. If you are over on U-Boob still, you need to get moved over to Rumble. So, internet, you'll still be able to click that link. See ya tomorrow. Well, we won't see you
Okay.
tomorrow on U-Boob. It's a members only thing tomorrow.
Yep.
So make sure you keep an eye on the all call in Discord tomorrow between about noon and about 1:30. We're going to start it sometime in that period of time. So,
All right.
see you then.
See you later.